Most sinful country. 15. Real life in the Philippines. Mind-blowing facts about Philippines. Documentary. Welcome to the Philippines, a country where the sea meets the sky in a tapestry of over 7,000 islands, where history, culture, and natural beauty collide in ways that defy imagination. From bustling city streets buzzing with jeepneys and colorful markets to remote beaches with sands so white they are almost blind, the Philippines is a place of extremes, contrasts, and unforgettable experiences. But it is more than just paradise. Here, volcanoes tower above lush valleys. Typhoons rage with unstoppable force, and centuries of history leave their marks in cobblestone streets, churches, and forts. The people themselves are a marvel, resilient, warm, and endless. This documentary will take you on a journey across islands, through festivals into the depths of natural wonders, and even into the shadows of haunted legends. You will see the Philippines as few travelers do. Raw, beautiful, wild, and deeply human. Ask yourself, how can a country hold so much diversity in its culture, geography, and history? What stories do its islands hide, and what secrets lie in its mountains, rivers, and cities? By the end of this journey, you'll not only know the Philippines, you'll feel it. Strap in, because the adventure is about to begin. Number 1. More than 7,000 islands. When you hear the word Philippines, the first thing you should think about is islands. This country is not a single stretch of land, but a vast archipelago of more than 7,000 islands scattered like emeralds across the western Pacific Ocean. Each one tells a different story. Each one holds its own identity, shaped by history, culture, and natural beauty. The three main island groups are Luzon in the north, Visayas in the center, and Mindanao in the south. Together, they form the backbone of the nation, but within them lies a staggering variety of environments. You have islands covered in dense rainforests where exotic wildlife roams freely. You have islands with active volcanoes, their peaks smoking above the clouds. You have tiny fishing villages where life has barely changed for generations. Manila and Cebu, where modern life races forward. What makes this geography even more fascinating is how diverse the experiences are. On one island, you can walk along powdery white sand beaches and dive into crystal-clear waters teeming with coral reefs and colorful marine life. On another, you might trek through rice terraces carved into mountainsides more than 2,000 years ago. There are islands famous for world-class surfing, islands that guard mysterious caves and underground rivers, and islands so untouched you will feel like an explorer stepping back in time. And then there's the culture. Each island community has its own language or dialect, its own food specialties, its own customs. The Philippines is home to over 175 ethno-linguistic groups. That means that traveling from one island to another is not just a change in scenery, it is a whole new cultural experience. Imagine hopping from Cebu to Palawan, from Bohol to Mindoro, and finding each place different in the way people speak, the way they cook, the way they celebrate life. This incredible number of islands also makes the Philippines one of the world's best destinations for island hopping adventures. Tourists come to explore Palawan's lagoons, Bohol's chocolate country have never even heard of. And yet for Filipinos themselves, these islands are not just vacation spots, they are home. They are the heart of everyday life, tied together by traditions, faith, and family. Think about it. More than 7,000 islands means more than 7,000 opportunities for exploration. More than 7,000 ways to experience something new. That's why the Philippines is often called one of the most diverse and rewarding destinations in the world. If you are someone who dreams of endless adventure, you will never run out of places to explore here. The Philippines isn't one country, it's thousands of islands, thousands of lives, thousands of stories waiting to be told. Number 2. Jeepneys, the colorful kings of the road. If there is one image that captures the everyday rhythm of life in the Philippines, it is the jeepney. These brightly painted, larger-than-life vehicles are more than just public transport. They are resilience that grew out of one of the darkest chapters of history. The story begins after World War II. When American forces left the Philippines, they abandoned hundreds of military jeeps. Instead of letting them rust away, resourceful Filipinos transformed them into extended vehicles, adding metal roofs, long benches in the back, and space for as many passengers as possible. What began as a necessity quickly turned into a national trademark. These improvised rides became the backbone of urban and rural transport. But the magic of the jeepney doesn't stop at its history. What makes it unforgettable is the way Filipinos turned a war relic into something uniquely theirs. Step into any Philippine city, and you will see jeepneys decorated with an explosion of colors, painted saints and superheroes, slogans of hope, names of loved ones, even pop culture references. No two jeepneys are ever the same. Each one tells the story of its owner, almost like a moving canvas rolling down the street. Riding a jeepney is an experience in itself. You hop in from the back, squeeze onto a wooden or metal bench alongside strangers, and pass your fare hand to hand until it reaches the driver, who often drives with one hand while counting change with the other. The route is rarely announced. Locals know it by memory while visitors may need to ask, and when it is time to get off, you simply call out the word para, meaning stop, and the jeepney will pull over. Jeepneys are more than just a way to get from point A to point B. They are part of the Filipino spirit. They show resourcefulness, turning scrap into something useful. They show creativity, transforming utility into vibrant art. And they show community, because every jeepney ride is a shared journey with others. Of course, times are changing. In recent years, there have been efforts to modernize public transportation, replacing old jeepneys with more eco-friendly versions. Yet for many, the traditional jeepney is irreplaceable. It is not simply a vehicle. It is a moving symbol of Filipino identity. When you see one roaring down the road filled with laughter, music, and life, you are not just looking at a mode of transport. You are looking at history, culture, and everyday resilience packed into a colorful, noisy, unforgettable ride. Number 3. Breathtaking beaches. The Philippines is often described as a tropical paradise, and nowhere is that more obvious than on its beaches. With more than 7,000 islands scattered across the Pacific, this nation is home to some of the most beautiful coastlines in the world. Think white sands so soft they slip between your toes like powder, waters so clear you can see schools of fish swimming beneath the surface, and sunsets that paint the horizon in glowing shades of orange, pink, and violet. But what makes Philippine beaches special is not only the scenery, it is how deeply they are woven into everyday life. For locals, the sea is not just a playground. It is a source of livelihood and identity. Fishermen set out at dawn in their bangkas, traditional wooden boats with bamboo outriggers, casting their nets and returning by midday with the day's catch. Children learn to swim almost as soon as they learn to walk, turning the ocean into their first classroom. Families gather on the shore to share meals of grilled fish and rice, enjoying the simple rhythm of life by the sea. Take Boracay, for example. Once a quiet island, it became world famous for White Beach, a stretch of sand so fine it feels like flour underfoot. Today, Boracay balances being a tourist hotspot with protecting its fragile inside of the country lies Palawan, often called the last frontier. Here, jagged limestone cliffs rise dramatically over emerald lagoons, and small fishing villages live in harmony with nature. In El Nido and Coron, divers explore shipwrecks from World War II, while island hopping reveals secret coves where the water glows turquoise in the midday sun. Then there is Siargao, the surfing capital of the Philippines. Life here beats to the rhythm of the waves. Surfers from around the world gather on Cloud 9, a reef break famous for its perfect barrels. Yet Siargao is not only about adrenaline. Away from the surfboards, you will find mangrove forests, quiet lagoons, and laid-back villages where time seems to slow down. What ties all these destinations together is the human connection to the ocean. Beaches in the Philippines are not exclusive playgrounds for tourists. They are places of work, culture, celebration, and memory. For many Filipinos, the shoreline is where daily struggles meet daily joys. It is where weddings take place at sunset, where children play tag in the shallows, and where elders sit watching the tides as if reading time itself. Tourists may come for the beauty, but what stays with them is the warmth of the people who call these beaches home. When you sit with a local family, sharing fresh coconut water or a plate of seafood by the shore, you realize the beaches here are more than destinations. They are living, breathing parts of human life in the Philippines. Number 4. Volcanoes, natural wonders. The Philippines sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for its intense seismic and volcanic activity. This geography has blessed the country with landscapes of breathtaking beauty, while at the same time exposing its people to immense natural risks. Volcanoes here are not just landforms. They are powerful presences that shape culture, memory, and daily life. Take the Mayon volcano in Albay, known as the perfect cone. Its symmetrical slopes rise sharply from the plains, so flawless that it looks like it was drawn with a compass. Mayon is both stunning and dangerous. Over the centuries, it has erupted dozens of times, displacing families and destroying farmland, yet locals continue to live around it. Why? Because the soil it enriches is fertile, and because Mayon is more than a volcano to them. It is a symbol, a constant reminder of nature's dual nature, both giver and taker of life. Then there is Tal Volcano, sitting quietly within a lake which itself rests inside a larger volcanic crater. From afar it looks peaceful like a painting, but beneath its calm surface lies one of the most active volcanic systems in the country. The 2020 eruption blanketed surrounding towns in ash, forcing thousands to flee their homes. Still, people return, rebuild, farming, as if to say that no disaster can uproot their connection to the land. Mount Pinatubo tells another powerful story. In 1991, it unleashed one of the most violent eruptions of the 20th century. Ash rose 35 kilometers into the sky, spreading across Asia and cooling global temperatures for years. Villages were destroyed, rivers clogged, and thousands of families were displaced. Yet out of this devastation came new landscapes. The crater filled with water, creating a turquoise lake that now draws hikers and adventurers from all over the world. What was once a scar is today a wonder, showing nature's ability to transform destruction into beauty. Beyond volcanoes, the Philippines is home to countless natural wonders. Underground rivers, limestone cliffs, hot springs, and waterfalls dot the islands, offering moments of awe to both locals and travelers. But what ties all of these together is the resilience of the people who live beside them. To outsiders, these places may appear as dramatic backdrops, but for Filipinos, they are part of the rhythm of life. Crops are planted in volcanic soil. Stories are told about fiery mountains, and prayers are offered to keep families safe when the earth rumbles. To live in the Philippines is to accept this balance between beauty and danger, between creation and destruction. The land is alive here, and people have learned not just to endure it, but to embrace it. For travelers, this makes every visit to a volcano or natural site more than sightseeing. It is a glimpse into how humans adapt, survive, and even thrive in the shadow of nature's most powerful forces. Number 5. Festivals galore. If you want to understand the true heart of the Philippines, you cannot ignore its festivals. They are not just events marked on a calendar. They are living expressions of faith, tradition, joy, and community. The Philippines is a country where celebrations seem endless, and each one tells a story about history, religion, and the resilience of its people. One of the most famous is Sinulog in Cebu City, held every January. The streets transform into a river of color as thousands of dancers, dressed in elaborate costumes, move to the rhythmic beat of drums and chants of Pit Señor, honoring the Santo Niño or Child Jesus. The entire city becomes a stage with parades, street dancing, religious processions, and fireworks. Visitors paint their faces black, wear tribal-inspired costumes, and march to wild, hypnotic drumbeats. It is a festival that celebrates the indigenous Ati people, while also honoring the Santo Niño. The blend of cultural roots and Catholic faith makes Ati-Atihan unlike anything else, a raw and pulsating expression of Filipino identity. In Lucban, Quezon, the Pahiyas festival bursts forth every May. Imagine entire houses covered in decorations made from rice, vegetables, fruits, and colorful leaf-shaped wafers called kaiping. What started as a simple offering to San Isidro Labrador, the patron saint of farmers, has turned into one of the country's most visually stunning celebrations. It is gratitude made visible, where food itself becomes art and communities proudly display their harvest. But the list does not end there. Panagbenga in Baguio blooms every February with flowers covering floats and streets. Kadayawan in Davao celebrates harvest and diversity, while Mascara Festival in Bacolod features smiling masks designed to uplift spirits during hard times. Each one reflects a different part of Filipino culture, indigenous traditions, colonial influences, and the natural abundance of the islands. What makes these festivals even more meaningful is the way they bring people together. Families save up money for months to prepare costumes or floats. Entire neighborhoods practice dances long before the big day. Strangers become friends as everyone shares food, laughter, and stories. For travelers, joining a Philippine festival is not just watching a performance. It is stepping into a living culture. You don't just see the dances, you feel the drum beats in your chest. You don't just look at the decorations, you share in the joy of a community giving thanks. This spirit of celebration, despite challenges and hardships, is a signature of Filipino life. It shows that joy is not reserved for perfect times. Joy is created, shared, and lived no matter the circumstances. And that is why Philippine festivals remain some of the most powerful cultural experiences in the world. Number 6, extreme typhoon climate experience. Life in the Philippines comes with a breathtaking beauty, but also with an undeniable test of endurance. This country sits right in the Pacific typhoon belt, making it one of the most disaster-prone places on Earth. Every year, an average of 20 typhoons form in the region, with around 8 to 9 making landfall in the Philippines. These storms bring heavy rains, violent winds, landslides, and floods that can change the rhythm of life overnight. To outsiders, a typhoon is simply a weather event. Children grow up learning the sound of strong winds rattling roofs and windows. Families keep flashlights, candles, and radios ready during the storm season. In some provinces, evacuation drills are part of school life, teaching kids how to respond when floodwaters rise or when warnings are issued over community speakers. The memory of Super Typhoon Haiyan Yolanda in 2013 still lingers. It remains one of the strongest tropical cyclones ever recorded, with winds reaching up to 315 km/h, 195 pm/h. Entire cities like Tacloban and Leyte were flattened and over 6,000 lives were lost. Tragedy is now a reminder of both nature's power and the strength of human resilience. Yet what is remarkable is not just the destruction, but the way communities rebuild. After every storm, neighbors come together to clear debris, share food, and rebuild homes with whatever materials they have left. International aid often arrives, but the first responders are always ordinary Filipinos. Fishermen levels and warmer oceans fuel stronger storms, making each year a gamble for coastal communities. Many families in areas like Samar, Leyte, and Bicol live with the quest. Migration becomes the only option, creating climate refugees within their own country. And yet, the Filipino spirit adapts. Typhoon warnings are taken seriously. Disaster preparedness programs are improving. Architecture is slowly shifting toward storm-resilient designs, especially in coastal areas. The experience of living with typhoons has made the people resourceful, tough, and deeply bonded. Travelers who visit during the dry season might only see the country's postcard beauty, white beaches, clear skies, and warm sunshine. But behind those smiles lies a collective memory of survival. To understand the Philippines is to understand this cycle of destruction and renewal. The storms may come again and again, but so does the determination to rise after every fall. Number 7, Intramuros Spanish Legacy. Step into Intramuros, the walled city of Manila, and you step into the Philippines' Spanish colonial past. Built in the late 1500s by the Spanish, Intramuros served as the center of politics, religion, and culture during more than 300 years of colonial rule. Surrounded by thick stone walls, moats, and fortified gates, it was once a symbol of Spain's power in Asia, often compared to a European city transplanted into the tropics. Inside these walls stood elegant mansions, cobblestone streets, ornate churches, and government buildings that shaped Philippine history. One of its most famous landmarks is San Agustin Church, a UNESCO World Heritage Site that has survived wars, earthquakes, and fires. Its Baroque design, carved wooden doors, and centuries-old frescoes still draw thousands of visitors each year. The legacy of Intramuros isn't just about architecture, it's also about the culture and way of life it cultivated. This was where Spanish influence blended with local traditions. Religious processions filled the streets, horse-drawn carriages, calesas, transported elites, and plazas buzzed with activity. Even today, the sound of church bells in Intramuros carries echoes of that colonial rhythm. But the city also carries scars. During World War II, Intramuros was heavily bombed and much of it was reduced to ruins. Thousands of civilians were killed and entire districts vanished. What you see now is a mixture of restored buildings, preserved ruins, and modern structures built on top of history. The walls themselves, though weathered, still stand as a witness to centuries of battles, revolutions, and transformations. For modern travelers, walking through Intramuros feels like stepping back in time. You can explore Fort Santiago, where national hero Jose Rizal was imprisoned before his execution, or ride a bamboo bike through cobbled alleys lined with stone houses. Cafes and museums have sprung up, but the old-world charm remains strong. Intramuros reminds us of how colonialism shaped Filipino identity. The Spanish brought Catholicism, which remains dominant in the country today. They influenced food, festivals, language, and governance. Landing in Intramuros, you don't just see buildings, you feel the weight of centuries. You understand how Manila became a crossroads of Asia, Europe, and the Americas, and you realize that the Philippines' past is still alive, etched in its stones, churches, and plazas. Number 8. Filipino hospitality, bayanihan spirit. If there's one thing the Philippines is famous for beyond its beaches and islands, it's the people. Filipino hospitality is legendary, and it's not an exaggeration. Strangers are treated like family, visitors are welcomed with open arms, and neighbors often go out of their way to help one another. The heart of this lies in the concept of bayanihan. Traditionally, this referred to communities literally lifting and moving a house together. Dozens of men carrying a bamboo hut on their shoulders, and represents more than just that image. It's the spirit of solidarity, unity, and communal support. When a family faces hardship, neighbors share food. When disaster strikes, people come together without waiting for formal help. Hospitality is also deeply tied to Filipino culture. Walk into a Filipino home, and you will almost always be offered food even if the host has little to spare. Meals are meant to be shared, stories exchanged, and laughter fills the air. Guests are often treated better than family, given the best seat at the table and the biggest serving. This warmth extends beyond homes. Tourists often describe their travels in the Philippines as memorable not just for the scenery, but for the kindness of people they met along the way. It goes further than generosity. Shapes daily interactions, whether it's sharing a smile with a stranger, helping someone carry heavy groceries, or giving directions with patience and friendliness. Even in difficult times, typhoons, earthquakes, or personal struggles, this spirit shines. Communities rebuild together. Families take in displaced relatives, and neighbors check on each other. It's resilience built on compassion, and it's not only locals who experience it. Travelers often find themselves pulled into fiestas, invited to family gatherings, or treated to a plate of adobo and rice without hesitation. Many say they arrive as tourists but leave feeling like they have family in the Philippines. This spirit of hospitality and bayanihan is what makes the country unique. It's not just about a place, it's about people who embody generosity easier to bear, and the happiest moments even brighter. Number 9. Street food culinary adventures. Walk through almost any busy street in the Philippines, and you'll find yourself surrounded by the unmistakable aroma of sizzling grills, boiling broths, and sweet desserts being shaved, scooped, and mixed right before your eyes. Street food here is not only cheap and filling, but it's also a window into Filipino culture and daily life. One of the most famous and daring street foods is balut, a fertilized duck egg that's boiled and eaten straight from the shell. For locals, it's a delicacy packed with protein and often paired with salt, vinegar, or a cold drink. For many travelers, trying balut is almost a rite of passage, testing how adventurous their taste buds truly are. But balut is only the beginning. The smoke from these makeshift grills fills the night air in markets and side streets, drawing crowds of hungry students, workers, and families. Each bite tells a story of ingenuity, resourcefulness, and community. Then comes the sweet side of things. Halo Halo. Perhaps the country's most famous dessert is a mountain of shaved ice layered with fruits, jellies, beans, lech flan, and purple yam topped with evaporated milk. It looks chaotic, but once mixed together, it's pure joy in a glass, especially under the scorching tropical heat. Snacking is almost a way of life in the Philippines. Not about fine dining, it's about comfort, creativity, and affordability. Street food stalls also double as gathering spots. Friends huddle around the same vendor every evening. Students grab skewers after class. Workers end their day with a quick snack before heading home. These stalls aren't just about food, they're about connection, laughter, and community life. For tourists, trying street food means experiencing the Philippines the way locals do. It's adventurous, sometimes shocking, often addictive, and always memorable. Every stall, every flavor, every shared plate tells a story of resilience, creativity, and cultural pride. Number 10. Hidden dive spots, marine biodiversity. The Philippines sits at the center of the Coral Triangle, the most biodiverse marine region in the world. Beneath its waters lies a hidden paradise of coral gardens, reef walls, and shipwrecks that lure divers from across the globe. While beaches often get the spotlight, the real treasures are under the waves. At the heart of the Sulu Sea is the Tubataha Reefs Natural Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Accessible only by live-aboard boats during a short diving season, it offers some of the most pristine waters on Earth. Schools of barracuda swirl in the blue, manta rays glide past, and sharks patrol the reefs. Archipelago lies Apo Reef, the second largest contiguous coral reef system in the world. after Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Its clear waters stretch endlessly, home to sea turtles, reef sharks, and massive schools of jackfish. Tavers described the experience as stepping into a living aquarium, where every direction reveals new life. But beyond these world-famous dive spots, the Philippines is filled with hidden gems. In Bohol, Anda's lesser-known reefs teem with macro life. Oro Verde Island Passage, often called the center of marine biodiversity, hosts a dizzying variety of fish and corals. Even smaller islands, often skipped by tourists, hide rich ecosystems that thrive away from the spotlight. For locals, the ocean is more than scenery, it's livelihood. Fishing communities depend on the reefs for sustenance, while marine sanctuaries are slowly proving that conservation brings long-term rewards. Yet challenges remain. Coral bleaching, overfishing, and pollution threaten these ecosystems. Despite this, many areas are rebounding, thanks to strict protection and ecotourism initiatives. For travelers, diving here isn't only about adventure, it's about witnessing fragile beauty. It's swimming alongside sea turtles at Apo Island, watching clownfish dart in and out of anemones, or drifting with the current through a cathedral of coral at Tabataha. Each dive is both a thrill and a reminder of how much the ocean gives and how much it needs protecting. Number 11. Historic churches' religious heritage. Religion is deeply woven into the history and culture of the Philippines, and nowhere is this more visible than in its churches. Across the island, centuries-old stone structures stand as silent witnesses to faith, colonization, and resilience. These churches are not only places of worship, they are cultural landmarks, architectural treasures, and community centers that continue to shape Filipino life. One of the most iconic is the set in 1607. It is the oldest stone church in the country and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its massive stone walls, carved wooden doors, and breathtaking ceiling murals showcase the skill of both Spanish friars and Filipino artisans. Despite wars and earthquakes, San Agustin still stands, a symbol of endurance and devotion. Walking inside, the air feels heavy with history. Generations of Filipinos have prayed, married, and grieved within its walls. Another masterpiece is the Pauay Church in Ilocos Norte, known for its dramatic Baroque style with massive buttresses that line its exterior, earning it the title of another UNESCO treasure. As the sun sets behind it, Pauay Church looks almost timeless, as if carved from the very soul of the land. Other historic churches, like the Miagao Church in Iloilo, with its intricate facade of carved stone, and the Santa Maria Church in Ilocos Sur, perched on a hill, are equally awe-inspiring. Each tells a story of Spanish influence blended with local creativity. Unlike the ornate cathedrals of Europe, these churches carry tropical adaptations, thick walls, wide bases, and native motifs that reflect the unique character of the Philippines. For Filipinos, these churches are more than architectural marvels. They are living testaments to faith. Holy Week processions, Simbang Gabi, Christmas dawn masses, and town fiestas center around these spaces, where entire communities gather in celebration and devotion. Even today, no matter how modern life becomes, the church remains a travelers. Visiting these churches offers more than sightseeing. It's stepping into centuries of faith, history, and identity. Each stone, each carving, each bell tower carries echoes of prayers whispered across generations. Number 12. Manila Nightlife Modern Cities. The Philippines is often imagined as a land of beaches, mountains, and quiet villages. But spend a night in Manila, and you'll experience a very different side of the country. The capital city pulses with energy long after the sun goes down. Neon lights reflect off skyscraper windows. Music spills out of bars and clubs, and streets buzz with people eager to enjoy the vibrant nightlife. Manila's entertainment districts like Makati, Bonifacio Global City, BGC, and Malate offer everything from rooftop lounges with panoramic views of the skyline to karaoke bars where locals and visitors sing late into the night. The nightlife scene is as diverse as the people. Trendy clubs attract international DJs and young professionals. Jazz bars and live music spots host local artists, while hidden speakeasies serve world-class cocktails. Street food stalls stay open into the early morning, where partygoers grab a quick bite of barbecue or isa, grilled chicken intestines, before heading home. In Manila, the night is alive with possibilities, blending modern cosmopolitan culture with the warmth of Filipino hospitality. But this picture of fast-paced city life stands in stark contrast to the Philippines' many traditional towns. Travel outside urban centers and you'll find communities where life moves slower, guided by the rhythms of farming, fishing, and fiestas. In small towns, families gather on porches in the evening breeze. Children play in the streets and church bells mark the passing hours. Here, traditionally, you can experience the buzzing nightlife of Manila or Cebu. Then wake up. These extremes reflect the country's complex identity, deeply rooted in history yet embracing the fast-paced changes of the modern world. For travelers, exploring both sides is essential. Spend a night in the city, feel the energy of its nightlife, then journey into the provinces to witness the soul of the Philippines. It's in this balance between the old and the new that the country reveals its true character. Number 13. Unique wildlife. The Philippines is not only a land of people and culture but also a sanctuary for some of the rarest and most fascinating creatures on Earth. Its tropical rainforests, coral reefs, and island ecosystems are home to wildlife that exists nowhere else. This rich biodiversity has earned the country a spot among the world's megadiverse nations. But what truly captures the imagination are the iconic species that symbolize the Philippines' natural heritage. Take the tarsier, for example. Found in Bohol and a few other islands, this tiny primate with enormous eyes is one of the smallest primates in the world. Perched quietly on branches, it looks almost otherworldly. Locals protect it fiercely, knowing it's not only a natural treasure but also a symbol of the fragile ecosystems that surround them. Tourists flock to see these shy creatures, yet conservationists stress the importance of keeping them in their natural habitat, away from stress and harm. Then there's the mighty Philippine eagle, often called the monkey-eating eagle. With a wingspan of up to 7 feet, it's among the largest and most powerful eagles on the planet. It also holds a deeper meaning. It's the national bird of the Philippines and a symbol of pride and resilience. But sadly, it's critically endangered, with only a few hundred left in the wild. Preserving this eagle is more than a conservation mission. It's a fight to protect the very forests that sustain countless other species. Beyond these two icons, the Philippines teems with unique life. Gentle sea cows graze in coastal waters. Colorful hornbills call from treetops. In its coral reefs, thousands of fish species flourish, making it one of the richest marine environments on Earth. Each island seems to hold a secret, an orchid species, a rare butterfly, or a hidden reptile that adds to the country's biological wealth. What makes this even more remarkable is how intertwined wildlife is with local culture. Many animals are part of folklore beliefs and stories passed down through generations. Some are seen as protectors, others as omens. The people of the Philippines don't just live near nature, they live with travelers. Encountering these species offers more than a thrill. It's a reminder of the delicate balance between development and conservation. Protecting the Philippine eagle, the tarsier, and countless other creatures isn't only about. Number 14. Haunted mystical places. In the Philippines, the unseen world is as alive as the physical one. From quiet villages to busy cities, stories of ghosts, spirits, and mystical forces are passed down through generations, shaping folklore and daily life. Unlike in some cultures where these tales are dismissed as superstition, here they hold real weight. Many Filipinos grow up hearing warnings from elders. Don't whistle at night, don't point at a tree believed to house spirits, don't disrespect sacred grounds. The country is filled with places believed to be haunted. Old Spanish-era churches, abandoned schools, and ancestral mansions are often said to be visited by restless souls. One of the most famous sites is the Diplomat Hotel in Baguio, a crumbling structure where visitors report ghostly apparitions and eerie sounds in the halls. In Manila, the centuries-old Intramuros walls are linked to spirits of soldiers and civilians lost during wartime. Across rural areas, bridges, forests, and rivers often carry stories of mysterious disappearances, or spirit guardians known as Encanto. Folklore also introduces terrifying beings unique to the Philippines. The aswang, a shape-shifting creature said to prey on humans, has been feared for centuries. The tikbalang, half man and half horse, is believed to lead travelers astray in forests. Then there's the White Lady, a ghostly woman dressed in white who appears on lonely roads at night, often linked to tragic deaths. These beings are not just characters in horror tales. They influence how people travel, build homes, and even plan events. For locals, these stories are not only warnings but also a way to explain the mysteries of life. They add a layer of cultural richness that fascinates visitors. Travelers drawn to the paranormal often explore these haunted locations, believe it or not. Spending a night in a place like Baguio's Diplomat Hotel or walking through Intramuros after dark can make even the bravest traveler feel the chill. What makes this truly powerful is how the mystical blends with the everyday. A family may go to church on Sunday, then later make an offering to a tree spirit to ensure harmony. This coexistence of Christianity and ancient animist beliefs, where faith, fear, and folklore meet. Number 15, Filipino Resilience Spirit. If there is one fact that defines the Philippines more than any other, it is the resilience of its people. The country faces some of the harshest challenges in the world: powerful typhoons, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, and economic struggles. Yet despite all of this, the Filipino spirit shines in ways that continue to inspire the world. Every year, entire communities are tested by storms and floods. Homes are destroyed, crops are lost, and lives are upended. But when you walk through disaster-hit neighborhoods, what you see first is not despair. Instead, you see neighbors helping each other rebuild, children finding ways to laugh and play in the ruins, and families gathering for food, prayer, and song. This strength is not taught in schools. It is born from generations of survival, community, and faith, lending a hand to move a house, sharing food, or pooling resources for education and recovery. This spirit of togetherness is what keeps communities alive through hardship, and it goes beyond survival. Filipinos turn challenges into creativity. Typhoon debris becomes recycled materials. Economic hardship fuels small businesses. Even in difficult times, art, music, and laughter find a way to thrive. It's no surprise that when travelers meet Filipinos, they often describe them as some of the friendliest, most welcoming people they've ever encountered. The resilience of the nation isn't only about enduring hardship, but about keeping joy alive even in the darkest moments. A fiesta is still celebrated even if the streets were flooded weeks earlier. Families sing karaoke under makeshift roofs. Smiles remain, even when circumstances are hard. This ability to adapt, create, and keep moving forward is part of what makes the Philippines so unforgettable. It's not just the islands, the beaches, or the history. The Philippines is far more than a collection of 7,000 islands. It is a living, breathing story of resilience, beauty, and culture. From the stunning beaches of Palawan to the volcanic peaks of Mayon and Pinatubo, from the chaotic energy of Manila's streets to the deep silence of ancient churches, from the daring taste of balut to the haunting whispers of ghost stories that shape folklore, every corner holds a new chapter, and every person you meet carries a story of hope, survival, and joy. What makes the Philippines unforgettable is not just the landscapes or the history, but the people, their warmth, their laughter, and their ability to rise again and again no matter what life throws at them. This is why travelers often leave with more than photographs. They leave with friendships, memories, and a deep sense of connection. So, if you've ever dreamed of exploring a country where every day feels alive with color, tradition, and spirit, the Philippines is waiting for you. Come see the islands. Walk the old streets of Intramuros. Share food with a local family. Dive into reefs that seem otherworldly. Celebrate at festivals that light up the night. And above all, feel the resilience and hospitality that define this nation. If you enjoyed this journey through the Philippines, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next travel adventure. Share this with friends who dream of visiting, and let us know in the comments. One thing is certain: the Philippines is not just a destination, it's an experience that will stay with you for life.